welcome to the very first episode of the book release blog. I kind of got this idea from a few patrons actually. They wanted me to show you guys how I do my artwork more behind the scenes. So I thought to myself, you know what? Why not turn this into an actual video series? Maybe something a little bit less edited, less professional, a little bit more candid and casual, boots on the ground. So for this week, I thought I would like to show you guys how I make my art cards. I'm going to release this as an actual deck of cards sometime in the future, hopefully by the end of this summer or fall. But I'm basically going to be doing these videos every week up until and even immediately after the release of my book, which is coming out to July 27th. So be sure to keep that in mind. But this will be the release of the digital version, which will be completely fully illustrated, and I'll make it available on Gumroad to people who want to buy it, and of course my patrons will get it by default since they've been waiting for this release for like over a year. And I'll also be releasing it on Amazon and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the first episode of the blog. All right, so about half an hour, 45 minutes ago, I finished doing line art and coloring for another card, and I'm currently in the middle of lining this sketch right here. And this one is a little bit more intense. There's a lot of like really intricate fine details here. This is kind of like a musician character. You can see this cello here, and it's taking a little bit, and on top of that, I've been sitting here for like, I don't know, maybe 4 hours, and my poor retinas they're burning right now. So I'm just gonna step aside for a little bit, take a little bit of a break, maybe go outside. It's a little hot right now, but I figured if I just sit down on the patio chair, I'll be fine. Okay, so yeah, it is pretty warm out here, but I'm sitting in the shade and it's actually pretty pleasant. So I'm just gonna sit out here for a bit, get some natural sunlight, go over my book a few more times, make sure everything is nice and squeaky clean, or as nice and squeaky clean as I could possibly get it. And I've got some nice cold seltzer water here to keep me nice and hydrated and cooled off. So we'll chill out here for a bit. All right, so it's been about half an hour. My eyes definitely feel a lot better. Still pretty cool, so that's nice. It didn't burn up too much out here. I don't know if you guys can hear that white noise, but a lot of people are running their fans. Pacific Northwest, we don't have a lot of air conditioning out here, so thankfully we're not in the heat dome like in the rest of the US, but it's still not great. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get back to it. So we got all the line art done here. Everything's looking all nice and clean and crisp. So we're gonna go ahead and start doing the coloring portion of this. So as you can see from the date, it is the next day. I was pretty much cycling through doing all the different cards simultaneously or back to back, and I completely clocked out. But this card is pretty much already done. So next I'm basically just going to work on like adding pattern details around the fringes and that sort of thing, and then adding some effects and some background assets, and this will pretty much be done. And speaking of the date, I actually just woke up and I got paid for a commission, so that's pretty cool. Go ahead and start working on that. Maybe do just an initial sketch because I really want to get all these cards done today. That way I'll just have this project completely out of the bag. So I have my black coffee here with a little bit of honey, just the way I like it. I don't like it watered down too much with other stuff.
You will be free from the mayonnaise. No more white sugar.
So we're gonna go ahead and try to see if we can get this done. So here it is. This is the final version of the card. This is the actual artwork, but this here is what the cards themselves will look like. I got the numbering here, the borders, the bezels, and of course my little made-up conlang. I actually turned this into a font using a program called, or not a program, but a website called Calligraph? I actually don't remember off the top of my head, but I'll put the link in the description. Basically, they'll give you a template, and you can put all sorts of stuff in there in case I put my little alphabet in there. And you can actually turn it into a font that you can type in Microsoft Word. It's pretty cool, actually. But yeah, this is what the actual card is going to look like. And as mentioned earlier in the video, I actually want to release these as a deck of cards. I would really like to get these out by August, but unfortunately, because of the limited funding I have with the Kickstarter kind of going by the wayside, unfortunately, I can't exactly be releasing physical items in large quantities, but, you know, it is what it is. But if not by August, hopefully by September and October at the latest. I really can't wait to get these cards in your guys' hands. It's a nice little thing to have. So that was this week, showing you guys how I make the cards. But next week, I'm thinking of maybe showing you guys how I make my concept art. That's a little bit more of an in-depth process because we're dealing with shading and, of course, dealing with the larger widescreen format that I work with. It takes a lot more time and, I guess, computer resources. My computer slows down a lot more when I'm doing that stuff. I'm not exactly working with a high-end rig here. I'm using, as demonstrated earlier, a whole Surface tablet, which works well, but it's not exactly the most powerful machine. But yeah, I'm going to try to get that going next week. And of course, next week is the week I release my book, which is going to be releasing on July 27th. Again, it'll be the ebook, and the physical versions will be coming out sometime later on in the summer. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy this candid style, spending less time doing editing and all the fancy stuff, and just showing you guys how I do stuff behind the scenes without any fancy stuff going on. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next week.